powers and the duties you're talking about starts on that, the bottom of that first page.
Yes.
Goes into the top of
And
the
I
section.
did notice a typo. It's supposed to be 1501, 1502, 1503. It's got 4 in there, but I'll amend that. But yeah, the powers and the duties, if you look on the second page, the duties that are listed in 64101, and then those additional ones. And it says the board will set the compensation, and then I added in there because it's best practice that the board would do a performance evaluation of the administrator yearly. I think that that is very important because you need that feedback and that communication. And if you need assistance with that, I also do those. I've done them for other cities. We have a form and a format, and it's kind of easy. You do them individually, and then I can, I put it together in an Excel spreadsheet and do a scoring, and that way then no one knows who said what, and it's something that can be delivered to the administrator as a whole. I think that that sometimes is very productive. You don't know unless somebody tells you. Right? I like, I like somebody tell me. So, do you all have any concerns about any of this? I put the salary range from what we discussed before. The education, I said a master's degree is preferred, but a bachelor's degree required, but an equivalent of combination of education and experience.
And
That's on.
that's on this sheet,
Mhm.
the color copy.
The ideal candidate. And the experience, 3 to 5 years as a city manager, assistant, or department head is preferred. That way it gives you the option if you decide that someone that you think has the potential to do it and can learn on the job, then that's okay too. Say they get a master's degree in public administration, have done some internships and have knowledgeable and is energetic, that can also be an option. And I know that when I was young, I did an internship and they hired me and took a chance on me in Dandridge, and it was a small town then, and it worked out really well for both of us, so.
I got a question.
Yes.
How long would you keep this position open? Because I know she got question marks for deadline.
Exactly. And so I have put together a possible timeline for you all. That timeline, see, segue, that was great. A possible timeline, so I've got the work session here and can get this out and advertise as you're passing the ordinance kind of simultaneously. If we want to do that, we could take applications, resumes through the end of August. And that way you have time to get it in all the print, like the Tennessee Town and City, the TCMA newsletter, MTAS, it gets it out there. You have that, and then in September, decide on 3 to 5 candidates. I can accept the resumes, make sure we weed out anybody that doesn't meet the qualifications that are set, and then give you all a packet to determine the top 3 to 5, how many ever you decide you want to interview. And then I can set up the interviews with the applicants because I can communicate with them, set that up 1 to 2 days, depending on how many you want and if they're out of town or across the state or wherever. It just, sometimes it's good to set that. So I set somewhere around September 30th for the interviews. Because we can do pre-interview questions with them too. So we know if they're really serious about the position. So when you send out pre-interview questionnaires and they send it back, that means they're serious about the job. I think sometimes that's beneficial to do. But end day, and then, in October at a board meeting, determine if you found your candidate or need to go further, deeper into the system, and that's what I was looking at as far as the timeline.
I guess I have one other question.
Mhm.
Does this ordinance need to be passed before we actually get into this posting, or does it have to?
I think you can pass it as you're doing
As
it.
you're doing it?
Mhm. Because you're not actually hiring someone until,
Correct. Okay.
yeah.
So that's why you have this at our next regular monthly meeting, to have that ordinance on the agenda.
Mhm.
We don't need to jump through hoops and accelerate the timeline.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a sample timeline that I was thinking that would be reasonable. If you all think that it's something you don't wanna just jump into and do and advertise in 2 weeks and then interview and boom, it'd be done. I know you'd like that, maybe, but I think you need to take your time with it and take it all in, and, so I would recommend something like this. And it can shift a little bit depending on how things roll. Real life sometimes doesn't follow a schedule, so, but I think it's a good one to shoot for.
Are there any other towns and smaller cities going through this similar process right now?
Yes, Townsend, I just got the phone with them today, I talked to them this week, so they advertised. That's in my territory. Spring City is advertising right now, which is down 75. Well, Pigeon Forge went through a whole ordeal. That was one, but I don't think you would be in the same running as the Pigeon Forge one, so I don't think that's anything to worry about. But I think Townsend, Spring City, those are coming to mind right now that, you know.
And where, you and I have had this discussion, but I'm gonna ask the question again. Where have you seen most of the candidates that you've ran into this with other towns and smaller cities come from?
I've had a few come from out of state in the fact because they have retired from their state retirement system and they're looking to come to a smaller town and still work and retire. That will happen. But a lot of it is maybe some younger folks within the state or some department heads that want to make a jump to the city manager position. So, those are in-state usually that I get. There's few with small towns that'll come in from out of state, but if you're looking at around the Knoxville area, like Townsend will probably get a lot of out-of-staters, I would think, because it's a touristy place and that's where it's at.
What's the population of town?
They are around residents, I think they're around 700, but they have a tourist population, and so that's where they have tons of campgrounds and tourist type events, so it's just a different animal.
I got a question, this is for David, not really for you, because you were just putting this information in here. I mean, we put in the budget for 80,000, so I think we should modify that from 85 down to 80. That's just me personally.
Okay. 70 to 80?
Yeah, 70.
I was guessing based
Yeah,
on
I would
what,
do 70 to 80.
Okay. Based on what, I think we talked about in the strategic session. 70 to 80.
Well, you could.
Do y'all have any other? Is it something that y'all think it looks all right, or want me to change anything else?
The places that you have on here that you're advertising with,
Mhm.
that's just like things through, I know like, it has MTS and things like that on there. Are you not gonna do like, any, are you gonna do local in Knoxville or like Indeed or anywhere, or just those right there?
I was doing what I recommend. If you wanna add some, you're more than welcome to put the ad anywhere you want. Those are, like MTS, of course, it's cities around, they get to see that. TCMA is the Tennessee City Managers Association, and they'll send that out in their newsletter, and so all the city managers that are in the state will get that. ICMA is the International City County Management Association, and then the Tennessee Town and City is I think you can advertise there for free, but it goes across the state as well. It's the Tennessee Municipal League newspaper.
That's just statewide.
Mm-hmm, it's statewide. The only international one I had was the ICMA, and that one. is
To Beth's point on the question of, if we did go out to an outside source like an MD, let's say, that brings in the private sector more than it would where this is staying within
the public sector.
the public sector. And it's not, I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing or a good thing, but
No.
it would bring in more private sector
Mhm.
candidates.
It would. And that's fine if y'all want to advertise there too, that's fine. I was just making suggestions to hit the ones that are the public sector where you're gonna meet those qualifications, and you all can advertise locally or wherever you want.
Well, too
I
bad,
think we need to advertise locally.
I would do locally, but Indeed's gonna cost us $600, so if we want to spend $600 to advertise, then.
I'm not
I mean-
hung up on that as much, Josh, as I am. To Beth's point though, what's been the track record with towns and cities that have gone that route, that have advertised in this more private sector?
And the reason I ask that is because I kind of worry that if you're gonna get a highly qualified person like that, are they willing to come to a small town?
Mhm.
And we may
That
have some
doesn't have
retirees who've moved in here from somewhere.
But then
out there
they
on
may
the
not
larger
check
farms
things like
may
that.
be qualified.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
like,
think we need to
when
do
you
that
said
locally, too.
Townsend also has the draw of the Smokies
Yeah.
and, you know, Townsend and things like that, whereas we have the draw here, but it's, I mean, we're a small
Region,
town
it's
and we're a, you know, the only draw we have is really the lake and things like that, if you're getting like a retired person. Whereas I could see if somebody was relocating, I mean, heck, I'd relocate to Townsend too, you know, I mean, it's nice over there and you're within an hour of anything.
Mhm.
You know, so I just wonder if you're trying to find somebody that's highly qualified to come and do this, is it their draw to come to a small town like this?
There's so many small towns in Tennessee. Most of the cities in Tennessee are small towns, and you see the people that care about the work normally enjoy it in a smaller town sometimes than a bigger town. So when someone's trained to be a city manager, the small towns are attractive, especially if they can make a difference and do things. And because you don't have a residency requirement in your charter, and they can live anywhere close to the county or whatever, so I think you'll be able to attract some. But I'm not opposed to doing anything locally, I just wanted to make sure you hit the public sector ones. If you weren't familiar with them, I was putting it in there for that
That's
case.
a good idea.
What's been the track record with those towns and smaller cities that have gone over into those outside recruiting options? Good, neutral?
I don't know, I mean, I think it depends on what you want. Sometimes when you do go on the outside, you're gonna get a lot of people that aren't qualified to apply, and you have to filter through those. That's where that comes in. You're gonna find someone that has 0 qualifications, because they apply to everything in those. You know, they just submit, and And that's usually what happens. You just have to weed through those to see, you know, if you have someone with an MBA or something and that's in business administration and that has, you know, a calling for public service, you might find somebody in there with that. So, it happens. There's a lot of people that come over from the private sector to the public sector and city management that's had the business administration background. It's a learning curve, just like it would be for a young person to come in and do it. 'Cause there's a lot more government regulations than there are in the private sector most of the time. Anything else you see? And I'll just take instruction from you whenever you're, I'll make that change on the salary and send it back and just let me know. If you think about anything else that needs to be changed on the advertisement or whatnot.
So you'll update the 5401, 511?
Yeah, I'll do that too. And then, I'll help Angelita with the contacts for the advertisement.
So this is a question for the rest of the council, not necessarily for you. We've beat this thing to death for months. Is there anything, you guys have all got it in your hand, is there anything on here that you don't agree with, or anything that you all want to add to the job responsibilities, the job duties, or whatever she has written on here? Because now's the time to discuss it, because I feel like when we walk away from today's meeting, we need to be like, okay, we're done, let's do this.
We need to start moving forward. We
And
need to
not
get somebody.
beat it to death anymore. We've got the money already appropriated, she's here, she's done all this work, this is it, now's the time to speak up. Or we should take a vote and be done.
Well, it's
Or
not gonna
whatever.
be black and white. This
I
is
mean-
something that we're gonna go by.
Right.
But there's day-to-day things that pop up that may
Well,
not be
there's a-
on here.
there's a-
but there's-
One of those and anything else the board wants them to do in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's always in
Or it
there.
may arise before it gets to the board, something that,
Mhm.
you know, contact the mayor and.
But what's in the ordinance is
Every day is
required by
different.
your charter, and
Yeah.
I wanna make sure that was
Yeah,
covered.
you know, I with the charter.
Yeah,
right.
But Ben, to your point, is, this is a good foundation to
Absolutely.
work from.
Mhm.
And, I'm gonna go, well, let's see, does anyone have a comment on Beth's question?
I just commented, I said, let's go.
I mean,
Do not hear-
it really does, you know, well, and I don't know if y'all know, I have I have a bachelor's degree in business administration. So I understand this point of this part of this and everything and some of the things that are in this. I think what you've put in here is good. I mean, what we need for the town is pretty much written right here in black and white. And like you said, there's gonna be things that come up. But for us starting this at the beginning, I mean, this to me looks better than anything that I've heard anybody talk about. Or, you know, everybody's like, what are they gonna do? What are we gonna pay them for? You know, that's like, you know, a lot of money, whatever, you know. But this, to me, it sounds, you know, sounds great. If I was looking for a job or, you know, wanted to do something like this, I mean, it's right there. You pretty much know what you're gonna be expected of. And within any job, you have there's always something that comes up every day in everybody's
And like
job.
she said, government changes all the time.
It
And you
does.
get into government programs and government requirements.
new laws passed every year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a lot you learn as you go.
Hey, Angie, I want to go back just a little bit of where we're at right now with Teresa leaving, Angelita as an interim recorder right now. And the recorder position is going to play into this long term, obviously, right? But what you've seen in other towns, small cities with this position and the recorder, it's all across the board, isn't it? Of some have both, some have a hybrid, I'll call it.
Mhm.
Is that,
Some do, it's funny, because, I'm working with Friendsville right now. See, I work with a lot of small towns, and they have a private act charter. And so the recorder and the treasurer position in the charter, it shall be one person, both of them. And they're wanting to split it because the treasurer is the CMFO, and they want the recorder to take notes, minutes, do the record stuff, like in the part-time position, and then the CMFO just do CMFO stuff. They have to change their charter to do that, and it has to go before the General Assembly next year. But they've also just created, as that, I just sent them an ordinance creating a city administrator position, because they can do that by ordinance as well. But they're gonna add it to their charter, while they do this too. But if you look at some of that, sometimes the city administrator is the CMFO. That is the case, there's that all over. It used to be that way in Rocky Top. They had their city manager, was also the CMFO at a time, and sometimes they're not. It just depends. When people come in to certain positions, they bring certain certifications, qualifications with them, and sometimes you just go with what comes in and if it's a good fit for you. And the city kind of morphs around whoever it is in that position. And so, I wouldn't put it as a requirement for the town manager to have the CMFO, but it could be a possibility that you look for as a skill set if that's what you want, if you want to combine that.
A lot of people in
'cause it's
business
out there.
administration also have accounting too, emphasis
Mhm.
on accounting, and they've done both.
Sometimes, and they can get their CMFO.
Right.
So it just depends. I think you go sometimes with someone's strengths, and that's what you kind of work towards, and that would benefit you. But it's not all one be all. Sometimes the city recorder doesn't have to be the CMFO. Sometimes it could be the manager. You have to have one. You know that. So, it just depends. Every city's different, every charter is different. And yours is general law, so of course that's in there, but, what's in your charter says may. The treasurer and the city recorder may be the same person, it's not shall. And St. Friendsville, it's shall, and so that's a big, they don't want it to be.
Okay, anything else? So, next step will be, at the next regular scheduled meeting.
The ordinance would go on first reading. Yeah, and then if you all want to advertise, if you want to go ahead and move forward with advertising, let me know. And I can help Angelita with that. We can work through it.
Perfect, thank you much for your work.
Yes?
Have a secretary back.
So you and Angelita's gonna get together to start with the advertising, you're not just gonna go ahead and start advertising now?
I mean, you'll have to make that decision.
Yeah, y'all just, that's why I said just let me
I'm
know.
putting you on the spot right now.
You need to make that decision.
I thought that's what we were gonna do, decide to go ahead, when, what.
I mean, he has the, that's him with the title to have that authority to do it. It's in the budget.
While we waiting, is there?
That's,
Do you want me to go ahead and get with Angelita then? All right,
Let's go.
we will talk soon.
Okay, sounds
Angelita, thanks.
Thank you much.
Thank you, because, yeah, the advertisements will hit in places differently because of how they send things out, and y'all know that. But you need to decide if you want to do it locally.
Okay. Yeah, I think, thank you.
yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, before we adjourn, any other discussion?
I mean, personally, for me is that personally, I think the city manager needs to, or city administrator.
We have to use that
I'm sorry,
word.
City administrator, I'm sorry. I think they should at least attain CMFO or have some kind of background and take that job role. That's just me personally.
Yeah, you save us
I mean,
$3,000 a month.
Yes, that's just me personally.
But that's where we need to figure out if we're gonna hire for one position or two.
If you
No,
hire a
you
city
still have to
one
have-
to start with, and
I think that was like
then,
what everybody was thinking is hire for one, then let them work it out, maybe with themselves and the mayor and say, hey, this is technically the other position we need, or maybe,
To figure out if they need the city recorder.
I think you're gonna have that, because you have to spend 2 minutes, that's gonna be required.
You have to have a city
Yeah, you're gonna
recorder.
have to have
You
that.
have to appoint a city recorder, but the city recorder does not have to be the CMFO.
Yes.
But to Josh's point, the city recorder, like in other towns, could actually be the city administrator.
yes.
It could be.
Could be.
So it could be either,
That could be
either
one
or,
job
Josh.
I'll
to-
combine and then branch out if we needed to. But first, get
Yeah.
the city administrator and then see where it goes, see how much.
Yeah, it's just difficult to take minutes during the meeting while being involved in the conversation and reporting on agenda items and that sort of thing. So, it would be good to have someone there for help with that.
I think that's what she kind of recommended, is you get a city administrator with her, not your city recorder.
Who she.
I mean, that's,
The
yeah,
what?
probably, and that's kind of what you're recommending, is your city administrator, is it your city recorder just to do the job tasks that has to be done, of taking minutes and keeping up with all that?
Yeah.
'Cause technically, if we want, I guess I go back to this, if you're wanting your city administrator to focus on, everyday tasks, then you're wanting to focus on, minutes and all that, and you're wanting to go look at, your industrial, how to build your industrial, put a plan together for your industrial. I mean, it comes at some point where, no, they don't have enough hours in the day to do all that.
The administrative part of minutes and ordinance books and records and doing open records requests or whatever, I think that should involve some sort of administrative city recorder. And if you want the CMFO to be the town administrator, then that person's gonna be doing the budget and those sorts of things and doing that line item to line item and keeping those finances together. So it's hard to do the minutes and all the agenda items and keeping up with the ordinances and all that too, I think.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point.
We good?
Good.
City recorder could also be the city court clerk too.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Good?
Mhm.
Okay. Angie, thanks. All right, nothing else for the workshop. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the workshop?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Okay, second, did you second it? All those in favor, say by saying aye. Okay.
Hey, before we go to the next meeting, did you get a letter from Hannah today?
I did, I forwarded it to Josh, you were
I
on.
got, yeah, but I'm saying, did anybody print that, do we need to print that stuff off that she sent us?
And you might want a copy of it.
Cause I didn't, I just now, I opened it earlier just to see what it was, but I didn't know if anybody else had it.